Obviously the year 2020 was unique for everybody in the entire world. And the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity was no different. And certainly, as we had grown our programs and our reach within both Southern California, in the Chicagoland area, as the Centers for Creativity continued to blossom in person throughout the communities, in sporting events, in you name it, it was sort of evolving in this wonderful way. And then as the pandemic hit, it became clear very quickly that this was going to be a long run. And I mean, at that point, we thought it was going to be, weeks or months, not years, and or over a year. And so I believe that California shut down on a Thursday, and on that day, as we knew, we'd shut down 20 some programs that were out in the community, after school programs and community locations and in-person things at the Center for Creativity. One of our teaching artists said, well, if we can't do things in person, let's figure out how to do them online. And so she and a couple of associates came up with Chuck Jones in Your Home programs, where they created these programs and listed them online, allowed people to download them, work on them, and then share them through social media and their own experiences. And so that began on a Friday. And then, as everybody else, certainly, I didn't have any experience with Zoom or any other video conferencing really at the time. The idea of doing something virtually kind of became a reality in about 24 hours. And on a Saturday, I learned Zoom, and I called Ben Olson out, and the head of and the founder of our Chuck Jones Center for Creativity in the Chicagoland, and said on a Sunday, there's this new thing. Let's try this. And he said, okay, I'll download Zoom. And we had this plan. He would be the teaching artist, and I would be the technical guy and sort of the host of the show and make sure what was going on. And so on that Monday, we tested it out, and the technical thing, and we had a couple of people jump on just to see if it was going to work. And on Tuesday morning, that March week, we sent out some social media, and we sent one email out that morning saying, we're going to try this out. Please join us if you're interested. And as we did a little tech check beforehand at about 20 minutes to 10 Pacific time, that as we jumped off and we're going to go to the live video feed on Zoom, we said it to each other, well, it'd be great if 5 people showed up. And so Ben and I jumped over, and we got on about 5 minutes to 10. And already there was the participant list, and it was like at 11. So we'd already broken. And some of those were our people that were getting on to see what was happening. But then as it crested toward 10 o'clock, it went from 11 to 15 to 20 to 30 to 40, 50, 60. And literally as it blossomed, our eyes got big, and I welcomed people in almost instantaneously, and then turned it over to Ben, and Ben started a teaching program and on the principles of animation. And all of a sudden we felt like we had something. And so that whole week we did open to the public free programs. And we've had, I believe, 4 continents come in and join us over the last year. We had regulars from Chile and Eastern Europe and all over the country who joined us in these virtual programs. And I believe we're cresting over 200 free programs that have been delivered. Sometimes at the beginning, we were doing 3 a day with different teaching artists. And then as we moved through, then we were doing 1 a day, maybe 4 days a week. And we continue that program month by month because even after the pandemic is now sort of, we're cresting out of the current state of it and getting back in person, there are a lot of Chuck Jones Center for Creativity followers who may never get to come to one of our programs in one of our areas. until we spread throughout the world. So the opportunity to create more virtual programs, hybrid programs, we've designed things that would allow virtual presentations in person in destinations all over the place, almost like a robo teacher who then we send out materials and big screen televisions, cameras, iPads to destinations with people in person and be able to really spread the programs of the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity anywhere, whether or not we can travel at the time or we have the resources who can travel. So it continues to evolve. And I think that in itself was a creative endeavor that really came out of the inspiration of what if we tried? And that really is the opportunity that we're hoping people will take away from what the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity does. As the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity continues to expand, both locally in Southern California and throughout the country, with the Chicagoland Chuck Jones Center for Creativity continuing to thrive, and others throughout the country inquiring about how they can get involved in whether it be programs virtually or in person, or even discussions about how a Center for Creativity could be established in their community from many different states. And so, and truly around the world. So how both the season of creativity, which is now a thing. I think it started out with the summer of creativity and the first event that was established years ago. And then as winter became the next season of, well, we can't really call it the summer of creativity in winter. So what do we say? It's the season of creativity, that these individual pop-ups like Chuck Jones Big Draws at different events, different destinations, museum exhibition runs that can go out. We've got at least a couple handfuls of different types of exhibitions that have traveled around the country, and some internationally, that the opportunity to really go where people are interested in both experiencing the programs and the exhibitions. We will continue, hopefully, to say yes as many times as we can, so that any community who's interested in participating with the Chuck Jones Center for Creativity can have that happen in their own backyard.